Hello students. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what to know when writing paragraphs. So it's kind of an overview of what I've learned over these years. I started teaching writing when I was still an undergraduate in 1998, 1999, 2000, sometime around then. And then I've been working at El Camino since 2005. So over the years I've picked up some tips and tricks on things on how to write a paragraph that's the most effective and the most efficient. So I'm hoping to impart that knowledge to you. So first of all, start your paragraphs with a topic sentence. I know that as you move forward and you want to be a more sophisticated writer, you often want to make a topic sentence that's implied. But I would say even as I moved forward to grad school, I often put a topic sentence that was strong, main idea, right at the very top of my paragraph. So the topic sentence is your main idea or the point you need to prove in your paragraph, and just start your paragraph right with it. Next thing you want is to know that paragraphs are about proof and connections. So it's about making your point. I have found over the years that most problems that students have is one of these two problems, right? Either proof or they're missing the connections between that proof. So proof, right? You make statements that you need to prove, right? So you need to prove your topic sentence, and you also need to prove your thesis later on when you're writing an essay. So whatever you write in your essay, you have to prove it. Even if you're not doing a research paper, you need to find other ways to persuade or to convince your audience that what you're saying is valid, true, interesting. Right? Later on, as we move forward in the presentation, I'm going to talk about a paragraph that I wrote for the IM essay, and you'll see it's something that's personal, but I still had to prove it. Okay? The other thing that students often miss is connections, right? This is showing the reader how your ideas connect, how one thing moves very clearly to the next. Things that help connect are words like transitions, they're also sentences, but the idea is that you really show the reader, hold our hands, let us know how one thing is connecting and proving the next thing. So in other words, what does that mean? It means show that your point is valid. Show that your topic sentence, show that your thesis, show that whatever quote or other information you put in there is valid, is meaningful, and there's a reason for doing it. Okay? So explicitly explain how and why your statement is true or why it makes sense. For example, here is my little mini outline for my paragraph on who am I, and my statement or my thesis or my topic sentence is who am I? I'm a mother. I put that first major detail is that I have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old, right? It proves that I'm a mother. My second major detail is that this defines me because having children has changed everything in my life. And then I'm going to prove to you why that is a true and valid sentence, right? Why that's a true and valid statement. So my minor detail or my support/example, I should tell you that books use many different words: minor detail, support, example, backup. They're all basically the same thing. Prove your point, right? And so then I wrote down, if every decision I make is altered by the fact that I'm a mother, right? For example, I arrange my work schedule to meet my children's schedules. My other example is that I even stopped working on my second master's degree in order to put my children first. So it may seem obvious to you, but you still need to prove that every statement is valid and true. For an outline, you will want to just include some of the major details that you have there that are going to include in the paragraph, but you should start to kind of develop where those ideas are going, okay? So when you write the paragraph, you'll have to develop those ideas and make connections. You can't just write simply what I put in the paragraph here. Again, one thing connects to the next, right? Why so many words? Like I had mentioned before, the main detail, minor detail, supporting detail, example, they're somewhat interchangeable, and most textbooks will use these interchangeably. I also want to impart on you that writing is not a science. So you can't just put down the outline, fill it out, fill out the template, and that's it. It's done. Instead, it's an art. You have to finesse it. You have to make it beautiful. More than anything, writing a paragraph or an essay is about connections. That's the main point that I would like to impart to you. So here's my basic outline so you could kind of see it, right? And that was in the other, a couple slides back. And I'm going to show you how I turned that into a paragraph. I turned it into a paragraph by making connections, right? By showing how those things relate. So my paragraph. Notice when I read my paragraph how I expanded and I made connections. So you saw my very basic outline. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my outline, right? Just a few things, right? The ages, the things that I had to do to really reevaluate my schedule, etc. And look how I turned this into a paragraph. Again, it's not science. You guys can do this, right? So here's my paragraph. Who am I? I'm a mother. I have 2 children ages 9 and 11. Being a mother exemplifies who I am because being a mother affects everything I do. My children define me because they affect all my decisions. For example, I create all my work schedules around their school schedules. Also, when I was working on my second master's degree, I became pregnant with my daughter, and I changed my plans in order to accommodate my new daughter. Although I don't think that everyone has to become a parent to find meaning in life, I do find great meaning in it. I feel a connection to something larger than myself, a connection to my ancestors. I know that I am a part of me will live on within my children. So what I'd like for you to notice is that the things that I put in the outline are there, but they've sort of changed, right? It's your job as the writer to make the connections between those ideas and make the things intelligible, right? From your outline to really kind of translate for us, like where you're going for the reader, right? And with that, I hope that you guys have a little bit better idea of how to write your paragraphs and how it's really something that's creative and exciting. And I hope that you guys have a good time writing this paper.